Hello everyone, I am Advocate Bhagyashree Bhosle, working as a lecturer in Sri Pancham Khemaraj Law College, Savantwadi. Today we shall see the process of a formation and registration of a company. In the process of a formation and registration of the company, the role of a promoter is a very important. So, in the beginning, we will discuss about the meaning of promoter, role, duties and liabilities of the promoter. So, promoter is a generic term associated with a person who start a business. In a common parlance, this person is also referred to as the founder of the business. A promoter is typically responsible for raising a capital, targeting initial leads and chasing the initial business opportunity, entering into the initial contract and for the business formation and incorporation of the company. When an individual has an idea for a new business venture, he or she may set about the interesting other in a venture and persuade them to contribute to the capital of the company to be incorporate for the purpose of a carrying of the venture or a business. The individual will then be described as a promoter of the company. A person who acts in the professional capacity is not a promoter. A company is a born when it is duly incorporated, means duly registered. For incorporation, a company various document for incorporation of the company, various documents are to be prepared and other formalities are to be complied with. All this work is done by promoter. The expression promoter has been defined under section 269 in the Companies Act 2013 as promoter means a person who has been named as such in a prospectus or is identified by the company in the annual return referred to in the section 92, or who has control over the affairs of the company directly or indirectly, whether as a shareholder, director or otherwise. Thirdly, or in accordance with whose advice, direction or instruction the board of a director of the company is accustomed to act. A promoter is a person who brings about the incorporation and organization of the corporation. He brings together the person who become interested in the enterprise, aids in procuring the subscription and set in a motion the machinery which lead to the formation itself. So, a promoter is a person who brings about the incorporation and organization of the corporation. A promoter is one who undertake to form a company with reference to the given project and to set it going, and who takes the necessary step to accomplish that purpose. In conclusion, it may be said that word promoter is used in a common parlance to the denote any individual, syndicate, association, partnership or a company which takes all necessary steps to create or mold a company and set it going. So, we shall see the duties of the promoter as per the provision of a Companies Act. The promoter occupy an important position and have a wide power relating to the formation of the company. So, it is however interesting to note that so far as the legal position is concerned, he is neither an agent nor an trustee of the proposed company, but it does not mean that the promoter does not have any legal relationship with the proposed company. The promoter stand in a fiduciary relationship to the company they promote and to those person whom they induce to become a shareholder in it. Following are the major duties of the promoter. Duty to disclose secret profit. It is one of the important duty of the promoter. A promoter is not forbidden to make any profit but to make a secret profit. It means that a promoter is forbidden to make a secret profit. He may make a profit out of a promotion with the consent of the company. In the same way as an agent may retain a profit obtained through his agency with his principal's consent, a promoter is allowed to make a profit out of a promotion but with the consent of the company. So second important duty of the promoter is a duty to disclosure of the interest. In addition to his duty for declaration of a secret profit, a promoter must disclose to the company any interest he has in the transaction entered into by it. This is so when where a promoter sells property of his own to company but does not to have to account for the profit he makes from the sale because he brought the property before the promotion began. Disclosure must be made in the same way as though the promoter was seeking the company's consent to his retaining a profit for which he is accountable. Then we shall see the third duty of the promoter. Promoter's duty under the Indian Contract Act. Promoter's duty to the company under the Indian Contract Act have not been dealt with by the court in any detail. They cannot depend on a contract because at the time of the promotion begins, the company is not incorporated and so cannot contract with its promoter. It seems, therefore, that the promoter's duty must be the same as those or a person who acts on behalf of another with a contract of employment, namely to show from the deception and to exercise the reasonable skill and care. Thus, where a promoter negligently allowed the company to purchase property, including his own, for more than its worth, he is liable to the company for loss it suffers. Similarly, a promoter who is responsible for making misrepresentation in a prospectus may be held guilty of a fraud under Section 17 of the Indian Contract Act and consequently liable for the damages under the Section 19 of the Indian Contract Act. Then fourth one is a termination of the promoter's duties. A promoter's duty do not come to an end on the incorporation of the company or even when a board of a director is appointed. They continue until the company has acquired the property or a business which it was formed to manage and has raised its initial share capital and the board of a director has taken over the management of the company's affair from the promoter. When these things have been done, the promoter's fiduciary and contractual duties cease. Then we shall see the liabilities of the promoter. A promoter is subject to the liabilities under the various provisions of the Companies Act. As per the Section 26 of the Companies Act 2013 laid down that matters to be stated in a prospectus. A promoter may be held liable for non-compliance of the provision of this section. A promoters may be held liable for any untrue statement in the prospectus to the person who subscribed for the share or a debenture in the faith of such prospectus. However, the liability of a promoter in such a case shall be limited to the original allottee of the share and would not extend to the subsequent allotment. Then second one, according to section 300, a promoter may be held liable to the examinations like any other director or officer of the company if the court so direct on a liquidator's report alleging fraud in the promotion or the formation of the company. Then a company may proceed against a promoter on action for deceit or a breach of a duty under where the promoter has misapplied or retained any property of the company or is guilty of misfeasance or a breach of a trust in relation to the company. In the Madras High Court in a Prabhar Kumar Mishra versus Ramabai Ramaswamy, he has held that to fix the liability of the promoter, it is not necessary that he should be either a signatory to the memorandum or the article of association or shareholder or a director of the company. Promoter's civil liability to the company and also to the third party remain in respect of his conduct and contract entered into by him during pre-incorporation stage as an agent or a trustee of the company. So in this way we come to know the role of a promoter in the formation and registration of the company. Then we shall see the actual formation process as well as registration procedure of the company. Every company formed under the Act may be either a company limited by shares, a company limited by guarantee, or a company limited, or unlimited company. 7% in case of the public company and 2 in case of a private company can incorporate a company with or without limited liability by subscribing their names to the memorandum and articles of association of the proposed company. An application to the registrar of the company of the state in which the register office of the company is to be situated should be submitted. Proceed then we shall see the procedure for the registration as per the section 33. The registration of the company and application has to be filed with the registrar of the companies for stock. The application must be accompanied by the following important document for the registration of the company. First of all, memorandum of association of the company. Then second, articles of association if necessary. And third one, the agreements, various agreement, pre-contract of the company if any. The document for the registration of the company was to be supported by declarations stating that all the requirement of the act relating to the registration have been complied with. The declaration has to be signed by an advocate of the Supreme Court or a High Court or any attorney or any public leader entitled to appear as a secretary or a chartered accountant in a whole time practice in India who is engaged in the formation of the company, or a person named in such an article as a director or a manager or a secretary of the company. All the required documents are presented for registration. The registrar has to see whether they answer the requirement of the act. He may however accept the declaration to the sufficient evidence of the compliance. He then registers the company and other document and place the name of the company and other document, and the place name the company in the register of the company, and a certificate of incorporation is then issued by the registrar which certify under his hand that the company is incorporated, and in case of the limited company the company is a limited. Then we shall see the certificate of the registration as per the section 34 of the Companies Act. The certificate of registration brings the company into existence as a legal person. Upon its issue, the company is a born, means it takes place the birth. For the act provide that from the date of incorporation, such the subscriber of the memorandum and other person as may from the time to time be the member of that company and shall be body corporate capable forthwith the exercising all the functions of an incorporated company. The company's life commences from the date mentioned in the certificate of incorporation, and the date appearing it is an conclusive even if it is a wrong. Then the certificate as a conclusive evidence. Not only does the certificate creates a company, it also the conclusive evidence that all the requirement of the Companies Act have been complied with in respect of the registration and the matter precedent and incidental thereto, and that the association is a company to authorize to be registered and duly registered under this act, means under the Companies Act. In another word, the validity of a certificate cannot be disputed on any ground whatsoever. Then we shall see the status of a pre-incorporation contracts. Company cannot be sued on a pre-incorporation contract. Sometime there are contracts on behalf of the company even before incorporation. No contract can bind a company before it become capable of contracting by incorporation. Two consecuting parties are necessary to contract, whereas the company before incorporation is a non-entity. Company has a non-status prior to the incorporation. It has no income before incorporation for a tax purpose, shares and whatsoever. So, in the name of the company before its incorporation, company cannot sue, or company is not binding for a pre-incorporation contract. Company cannot sue on a pre-incorporation contract. In the second point, the company is also not entitled to sue on a pre-incorporation contract. Company cannot pay adoption or a rectification of the benefit of the contract for a team to have been made on its behalf before the company come into existence. Then we shall see the important point commencement of the business of the company. A private company a private company can come in a business right from the date of its incorporation. But in case of the public company, or the certificate for the commencement of a business has to be obtained. It is necessary in case of the company has issued a prospectus inviting the public to subscribe for its share. Such a public company will be entitled to certificate of a commencement of a business on the following condition. In case the payment of the shares have been allotted to a amount denoted as a minimum subscription. Then second, every director of the company has paid to company on each of the shares taken or contracted to be taken by them for a cash. Then third point, no money is liable to become refundable to the applicant by reason of a failure to apply for the obtain the permission for the such a shares or a debentures to be dealt with on the any recognized stock exchange. Then fourth point is a duly verified declaration has been filled with the registrar by one of the director or the secretary on compliance of this condition as stated above. The registrar will issue the certificate of commencement of a business. Under the Companies Act 1957, a private company can start a business immediately on its incorporation, but a public company can do so only after obtaining a certificate of a commencement of a business which was issued by the registrar of the company on a fulfillment of a certain condition. The Amendment Act of a Company 2013, when enacted, had changed its scenario and mentioned in this act all companies which share capital were not allowed to commence a business or exercise any borrowing power unless a declaration in a prescribed form was filled by the director with the registrar of the company containing the matter specified in section 11, as for instance the amount of a paid up capital of the company, verification of its register office, etc., etc. Any default in complying with the requirement of this section was made punishable with the heavy fine. It is also provided that if the registrar of the company has a reasonable cause to believe that a company was not carrying on a business or other operation, he could initiate an action for removal of the name of the company from the register of the company is maintained by him. All these changes after the Companies Amendment Act 2015 come into force. So, in this way, today we discuss about the who is the promoter, roles, status, duties, liabilities of the promoter, as well as the procedure, pre-incorporation procedure, incorporation procedure, registration procedure, and as well as the issuance of the incorporation certificate of the company. Thank you very much.